Good evening and welcome, one and all, to Pacific414 Pop Talk. As always, I'm your host, Mike. This evening, yes, I know it's an hour earlier than normal, but originally I thought I would have to go to an appointment tomorrow, but I was able to reschedule that appointment for today. But I'm still going from 7 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. So that's why the early start time is the way it is. But before I get underway, I have a few news stories that I wanted to talk with everybody about this evening. One of them, and this story comes from Geek Tyrant, says that Disney reportedly planning to give Doctor Who a Hollywood makeover. Oh gosh, it's already gone from bad. It can't get any worse, or can it? And another story I have comes from Variety. It's about Friday the 13th prequel series called Crystal Lake from former Star Trek executive producer and writer Bryan Fuller. And I have a couple of Henry Cavill related stories. One of them being that he's joining a World War II spy thriller with Isaac Gonzalez. And the other, I'm sure everybody has heard about this one ever since it was announced that Henry Cavill is officially exiting The Witcher, and I think we pretty much all know why he's exiting The Witcher. And I talked to a few people; they're actually not sad to see him go. They're actually happy that he's going to be able to move on and do the projects that he actually wants to do. And then I have a story about Square Enix president declares the company needs to target the global market to succeed. We'll get into more details on that. And then I have an article from Anime News Network, and it says Variety is reporting that Raya and the Last Dragons, Carlos Lopez Estrada, to write, direct Your Name Hollywood remake. Hmm. I don't know how I feel about anything being remade by Hollywood nowadays. And those are the stories that I have lined up, man. I know usually I like to read the first story before handing out the invite, but if anybody would like to join me this evening, you're more than welcome. I'll go ahead and pin the invite link into the chat for everybody who would like to join. And let's do our best to keep everything on the main topics of the evening, and let's try not to delve off too far. Although I do have something for the end of Pop Talk because it was 6 years ago today that something special happened if you're a fan of a certain baseball team. And for many of you who have been here for a while, you know which team I root for, you know which team I support through good times and bad. And you know what? How about instead of saving it to the end, I go ahead and just play the main few seconds. It's about 8 to 10 seconds worth of video, but you know what? This will always be a special moment because I got to share it with my late mother and a few friends, and I'll never forget it. So let's go ahead and start off Pop Talk with this as soon as I can get one thing to close here. One second. Technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a stream without a technical difficulty or two. So let me get that up there. But in case anybody isn't a baseball fan, I'll just say that something special on this day into early Thursday happened 6 years ago for a team that a lot of people didn't think would ever accomplish this feat. Unless you were a Cub fan, especially in the 2016 season, you just felt like something special was going to happen. So I am going to play the first few seconds of this great moment. It's a moment I'll never forget.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all.
Yep. It's been 6 years since the Cubs won the World Series against the then Cleveland Indians, and I will never forget that fateful night. Never forget it at all. And please welcome at this time. Let me go ahead and play his music. I know he's already in here, but I'm going to play his music anyway because it wouldn't be Pop Talk without me playing his music. So here we go.
Very touching. Makes me emotional. Tears. And it was wonderful to see, that wonderful Chicago team, the White Sox, do their thing. I'm glad you played that video.
It wasn't the White Sox, Phil. It was the Cubs. White Sox didn't even make the playoffs this year. And before we get underway with any of the stories, I do want to acknowledge everybody who's in the chat right now. Lorenzo Sleestak, welcome to the show this evening. Again, if you want to join the panel, you're more than welcome. And of course, Bill.
Yeah, I just want to say your computer's running awful hot and contributing to global warming. So yeah, after you do your stream, you got to unplug.
I don't live in a particular region of the country where that's required. At least not yet. And you're right about this, Phil. You're right about this. Doctor Who is dead.
That one, Star Trek, life support, Star Wars, life support, Doctor Who, it's done. They're not bringing that back. When I mean they're not bringing that back, the fans are gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
So, shame.
Even trying to bring back David Tennant, I don't think it's gonna work out the way they think it's gonna work out. And Lorenzo, that's right. You do have a show tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and 1 a.m. in the UK. So I will definitely stop by and leave a few messages in the chat, and just stick around and enjoy the show. So let's go ahead and get into this article about Doctor Who and Disney and their plans to give it a Hollywood makeover. It's already gone downhill. It can't get any worse, or can it? So this comes from Geek Tyrant. It was posted 2 days ago, and the author is Joy Parr. It says, last week it was announced that Disney Plus would be the new streaming home of Doctor Who. Fans seem to be split on that news, but the goal of this is to transform Doctor Who into a global franchise for UK audiences and the rest of the world. It's already a global franchise.
It's like,
what?
Okay, maybe somebody in, I don't know, some island in the South Pacific that doesn't have internet or video, television. I mean, at this rate, everybody has some form of communication. So Disney can't do, I shake my head at that. They're going to give it exposure to the world. It already has.
Mm-hmm. And the article goes on to say, according to a report from The Telegraph, Disney is reportedly planning on giving Doctor Who a Hollywood makeover when the upcoming 60th anniversary season comes to Disney Plus outside the United Kingdom. It's explained that Disney will have a say in creative decisions for Doctor Who. Yes, it is going to get worse. Much worse.
Look at what their own
Star Wars is the perfect example.
I mean, it's like having a doctor that done screwed up a couple surgeries, and then you're going to say this guy's going to perform a life saving procedure on another person. No, not happening. No.
Yep. And anyways, I'll get back to that paragraph again. It's explained that Disney will have a say in creative decisions for Doctor Who under the terms of a co-production deal made with the BBC over its long-running sci-fi series. Well, the BBC is struggling as it is. If you pay attention to any YouTubers who are, from the UK or anywhere where they have to pay the fee.
Yeah. Well, they're going to lose that. That's guaranteed. And like I said, when they were pretty much doing the Warner Brothers with like Batwoman and them other shows that were garbage shows, tanking, yet they keep on insisting on throwing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. BBC, they already know they're going to lose that fee, and they should. They should. Because that's what was saving their butt.
Pay a license fee just to be able to watch a television show, and you have to pay to BBC. And I'm sure if I had somebody from the UK on, they can explain it a lot better than I could, but still, it's a bunch of BS.
15, 20 years ago, BBC was great, and they went woke, and it's been downhill ever since.
Well, I'll still say this: Peter Capaldi, he got the short end of the stick when he was the Doctor.
Yeah.
So the article goes on to say, however, showrunner Russell T Davies will retain the overall creative vision for the show. Disney is also looking to give the show a vast budget beyond the BBC's means, allowing for more cinematic production values and more stars. But it is said that these higher budgets for the production are commercially sensitive and have not been revealed. You can give it a big budget, but if the stories aren't any good, no one's going to watch. I don't care how good the effects are. I don't care how big your budget is. If the story sucks, who cares?
It's not only just the story, it's the ability to perform it. I mean, think about when they had the Dukes of Hazzard and they had, the two guys were refusing to go on because they weren't getting paid enough. So the show brought on, I don't want to call them scrubs, 2 other actors. They didn't do a bad job, but the ratings did suffer. It didn't tank, but it did suffer. Things like that. No matter how great the storyline is, if you mess with the fandom, you mess with the actors in the show. That's a prime example. There's other ones, but yeah, keep on. Let's see how Disney is going to become the savior of Doctor Who.
Now, the author does say in this next paragraph, now, while some of you may be upset about this news, just know that the BBC supposedly maintains the final say on the franchise. So if they say no to something, Disney can't do it. But they both agree on something. The future of Doctor Who is going to have a much bigger budget to tell stories. Again, a bigger budget doesn't mean that you're going to have better stories. Look at Star Wars. Look at the current state of Star Wars. Look at what we got with Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett. I know there are a lot of people who do like Andor, and that's good on them. That's good on them. I was having a conversation last night, and I said, I'm glad you guys enjoy the show, but I have no intention on watching.
Real quick on that, they came out with what I don't want to call it ratings, but it's close to ratings you're going to get. It only has what was it, 1/3 more than what Obi-Wan had at its highest peak. So let's say if they had like 5 million views, they got maybe for Endor 6 million. It's not really that great. When you go down and think about it, 6 million. If you're talking just the United States alone, there's over 310 million.
Yeah,
you only pulled 6 million. Don't fall with the Disney hype where people are pumping it up. and reviews, which we already went over the reviews, how we were getting fake reviews this Sunday when we were showing it. So,
And I do want to say hello to Cobra Disney Jedi, who says, I still love the scene in Bohemian Rhapsody when they made fun of the hacks of the BBC. The BBC, yeah, that was a good scene, and Bohemian Rhapsody is a good movie. All right, so the final paragraph in this article says Disney's Doctor Who reign will begin with the release of the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials, which are coming in November 2023. So we have to wait another year if we want to watch it. These specials see David Tennant returning to the franchise as the 14th Doctor. After Tennant's run as Dr. Nkuti Gatwa, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but no, I'm trying, will take over as the 15th Doctor. Well, I'm sorry. I tuned out when Jodie Whittaker became the Doctor. It's because the stories weren't very good.
And the retconning of Doctor Who by the showrunners. They killed what I guess you would consider canon. And once again, here's a show that was killed by canon. We can put Lord of the Rings in the mix now. We can put Star Wars in the mix.
Star Trek,
and Marvel to a degree. Warner Brothers did the same thing. Like I said,
look at Namor coming into Wakanda Forever. Namor is now Mexican. He's supposed to be Aztec, actually Atlantean. Sorry.
I personally, after the gentleman died, see, they put themselves in that predicament. They said, it wasn't like the fan said someone else couldn't play Black Panther.
Yeah, T'Challa.
They said it. So when they did that, then they should have never did another Black Panther movie. If they do anything with Black Panther as far as the Marvel universe, as long as Disney got it, then what they should do is have the person in the suit, but never show them out of the suit. That would solve everything. Personally, I would have been more in favor. I'm sorry the guy died. I loved his acting. I loved Black Panther.
Chadwick Boseman was a great actor.
But I would have been fine if they would have did something with the story. Maybe like a younger brother, maybe like a cousin, maybe even like a nephew. Someone come along and inherit the role, just like he inherited from his father. Unfortunately, we have to realize, and Disney doesn't like saying this, people do die.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with replacing an actor. It's been done 1,000 times. Don't forget, they're Mr. Captain America. His first Marvel movie, he was the Torch, and it tanked. They gave him another chance in a different role. I
wouldn't say that the Fantastic Four tanked. It did get a sequel. The sequel wasn't very good.
Let's just say the Fantastic Four wasn't up to the rest of Marvel's standard. But then again, and I think we talked about it before, some of Marvel, not all their characters, some of their characters in Marvel need an upgrade. DC needs an upgrade. Besides Batman, which you can take aside, they can all use an upgrade. What I mean by an upgrade, DC, normally when you think of it, it's alter world 30s, 40s type-ish, maybe 50s.
And New 52, I mean, that comes to mind.
They need to bring it up to par in the modern age. They tried doing that a little bit with Wonder Woman. I give them credit for trying. 1984 is watchable. I won't say
1984, in my opinion, is a disaster.
I didn't like the storyline. I didn't like the storyline. That storyline to me did not make any sense. I know they got it from a comic book, but there's some things in comics that will never equal out onto TV or in movies. And that's just one of them. There was so much Wonder Woman we could have got and other things that could have been done than that. I still am confused by the storyline in that. I did like the lady that played Tigress. I did like that. I did like that. But some of these other things like handing Disney Doctor Who and thinking that's going to take off. Let's be honest. Disney has not did good with any since they tried dabbing into sci-fi. Any sci-fi.
No, even Tron wasn't a success.
Nope. Both of them. And don't forget the biggest blunder of the world that they have, the biggest, even though I think it's an okay movie, John Carter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll say it to this day. The only live action Disney actually hit a home run with was the Pirates series.
Yeah, the first Pirates movie wasn't even meant to be a success.
No, it was not.
Became a success because of word of mouth.
The real reason that movie was made because they were redoing the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. But Johnny Depp smacked it out of the park. And if it wasn't for Johnny Depp, Disney's live action wouldn't be nowhere. And technically still, it isn't nowhere. Can you name me a Disney success live action? I mean, Disney. Take it out, forget Marvel. And if you can do it also, forget Star Wars.
Straight up Disney, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Nope. So, what do they think they're going to do? I mean, BBC's rolling the dice here. And, I talked about this before many times. Disney might have deep pockets, but these isn't a money tree. There's a limit. How many more shows and things that can tank and not make money? Granted, there's a lot of people that like Endor, but it isn't the success that everybody's thinking it is, and it's not like it's getting sponsorship. I mean, again, there's people that can tell you they loved it, but Mike, is there a Cassian Endor action figure? Is there a Cassian Endor game, video game, comic book? None of that.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about a Cassian Andor action figure, you got to go back to Rogue One back in 2015.
And I know Rogue One is a good movie, but don't forget that had 70% reshoots. 70%. If you don't believe me, look at the trailer. Some of the scenes.
I know. And another movie that had reshoots was Solo.
Yep, that was 90%. And you want to know something? I give Ron Howard all the credit in the world. He made do with what he got. I thought he did okay because it probably would have been better if they would have scrapped the movie and redone the whole thing with just Ron Howard rather than going through all the reshoots, rewrites, and remakes. That's I never will fault Ron Howard for that.
And Cobra Disney Jedi brings up Aladdin and Lion King, the live action versions, and also Beauty and the Beast. I will say that when I watched the live action Aladdin, I had to turn it off. I was not impressed.
I heard didn't watch it.
Are certain movies that don't need a live action adaptation.
No.
Because they don't work that well.
They tried to put, and I'm not dishing him. What's his name in the
Will
role
Smith?
of? Yeah. I'm with you. They shouldn't have touched it. They shouldn't. Yeah. Do we need a lot? What you want to do? Where's the live actions of the Fox and the Hound? There's none.
You're not going to see that.
Bambi. There shouldn't be none. The cartoon, if you want to call it that, Aladdin and the Lion King, perfect. Don't touch it. Don't do no live action. Nothing. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Yeah, the sad thing about the Lion King is that none of the characters on screen had any real emotion. You you spend a lot of money to create these CGI lions and characters, and none of them have any emotion in them. At least in the animated film, you can see the emotion on the character's face.
Hmm. I mean, think you don't again. Lion King had a lot of named actors that did the voice, from the guy who played Benson to the guy, Mr. James Earl Jones. That was perfect. That
Mhm.
was perfect. And these are good actors, but even them, let's just say instead of the next year after it was a hit, they decided to make a live action with them actors. I would say, don't you ever do that. It's just
Mm-mm.
not something that equals out. You know, Snow White's the same thing. I can see them maybe doing a play, like you go to Broadway doing a
They're
play.
already doing a live action movie, unfortunately.
Uh, Sometimes you got to wonder what they're thinking.
The, they're thinking about a cash grab. That's what they're thinking about. And I do want to say hello to Godzillionaire who says, "Did you all see Chris Gore's video about live action Disney films? It's great." No, I haven't seen it, but Godzillionaire, if you want to go ahead and post it in my Discord, please do so. And also post it in the chat for anybody who might want to check it out. And let's see, Lorenzo says, I stopped watching most big studio Hollywood movies years ago. There's so many classics I can watch. Absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite movies to watch is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's such a great movie. It's faithful to the book, too.
I like the one, which one that he did with the Russo horror. Can Johnny come out to play? I forget the name of the movie with Jack Nicholson, the horror movie. He's a writer. They're in a motel,
Mm-hmm.
a ski
Uh,
lodge. I can't think of the name right. They did a remake with what's his name, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the actor. It
Ewan
bombed.
McGregor.
Yeah, it bombed. Some movies you don't need to. You don't need a You don't need a part two or a prequel or anything. Leave it alone. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm trying to think of the name, but it'll hit me later. I apologize. But it's a great movie. The one with Jack Nicholson had a great storyline. The sequel to it with Ewan McGregor is his son, the little boy that's in the movie in the original. It's supposed to be his son, but it was so
Padawannabe
good.
says The Shining.
The Shining. Yeah, I forget what they call the one with Ewan McGregor in it, the part two to it. But yeah,
And I do want to say hello to the Padawannabe as well. And Lorenzo is saying Disney used to remake movies for Wonderful World of Disney, which used to be on network television. Yeah, it used to be on ABC back in the day. Someone could easily rent the original at a video store. Yeah, I used to do that with my family. Used to go to the local video store, whether it was down the street or whether one opened in the other side of town, and we would rent the movie every weekend. No, fine.
I, I remember as a kid it was the Sunday night movie followed by, and I might have it backwards. Then it was the Disney movie, and then then it was like around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Then your TV went off the air. You got the nuclear symbol with the siren. And but yeah, it was always every Sunday after the Sunday night movie. It was uh Disney. You got a Disney movie. Now it could be wrong. I could be mistaken. It's been so long. It could have been before the Sunday night movie or after. I forget. But
Mhm.
it was guaranteed. It was guaranteed to be on. You know.
And I do want to say good evening to Dempsey. I hope you're doing well this evening. And I also want to say hello to DJ Ronnie B. Gee, I
Oh,
mean, not DJ Ronnie B. What the hell am I saying?
Pat don't want to be put in there. Doctor Sleep. That's the name
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the show.
yeah. Well, that's what I also call Doctor Who now. It's Dr. Sleep, because that's what I do. I end up falling asleep. It's like, oh, what's going on in the episode? Who cares?
But I'll be honest, when it comes to Doctor Who, if they had the ability to bring every past Doctor from the very beginning to now and put them on the show, you're not bringing Doctor Who back. It is dead. They killed it. It's nothing they can do to bring it back. And they might
Chris Trimble killed the franchise.
Yep. Now, they might get a couple people back, but I would say if you're talking percentage, you might be lucky and get 25 with the last remaining 10%. So you have 35% of what was 100% Doctor Who. So you still have a dead franchise. 35% of your fandom is not going to keep it afloat.
And Godzillionaire says Dr. Diversity. Well, you could say that about any show. Star Trek diversity and all this. And there's nothing wrong with diversity, but every show nowadays likes to shove it in your face. Like, hey, look, we got this group of people, that group of people, this group of people. And why am I saying group? Because they all group different folks together. Stop doing that. Next Generation never did it. DS9 never did it. Voyager never did it. Enterprise never did it.
No, do you remember when Deep Space Nine had the big thing, first lesbian kiss on television?
Yeah, that was hyped up, and
that was hyped up.
It was no big deal. It was no big deal.
If you were a person that did not like that, did not want to see that, understandable. You could not watch. You can decide not to watch that episode, and you would not been hurt by it. You can watch the following week's episode and keep on chugging. It wasn't that big of a deal. And if for some people, everybody has their own standards, and we should all accept that. If they didn't want to see it, they can turn the channel, wait about 5 minutes, and then go right back. You didn't have to watch it if you didn't want to.
Exactly. If you watch the episode, you understand why Jadzia, and I'm just going to say Susanna Thompson because I can't remember the name of the character off the top of my head right now, but Susanna Thompson was the actress. And you understand why the two of them kissed because they were in a past relationship, but you also learned more about the Trill species, how they shouldn't get involved in past relationships, and that's exactly what ends up happening. And it ends up, hurting Jadzia in a way because she's conflicted.
And you kind of get that in when the lady leaves Deep Space Nine, and you get the new Dax. Why Worf was dead set. Yes, it's a different person with same feelings, but it wasn't her.
No, it wasn't Jadzia.
It wasn't Jadzia. And he accepted the, symbiont relationship that they had, but he was in love with the actual person,
Now let's go ahead and shift gears and talk about a new Friday the 13th prequel television series called Crystal Lake. All right, I have just posted the link to the article in the chat for anybody who wishes to read it on their own time, but this comes from Variety. It was actually posted on Monday, Halloween. And it says Friday the 13th prequel series, Crystal Lake, from Bryan Fuller, ordered at Peacock. And if anybody remembers the name Bryan Fuller, he was a producer on Voyager, and he was a producer for a short time on Star Trek Discovery until Les Moonves fired him. And, well, we all know what happened to Star Trek. And real quick, Dempsey is saying it's about Ms. Voorhees, right? Well, we'll find out, brother. So the article starts off by saying Peacock has given a straight to series order to a Friday the 13th prequel currently titled Crystal Lake, Variety has learned. Exact plot details are being kept under wraps, although it's described as an expanded prequel. The show will be written by Bryan Fuller, who is also the showrunner and executive producer. Victor Miller, who penned the original film in the franchise, will also executive produce, along with Mark Toberoff, Rob Barasimi. I'm probably saying that wrong. And A24 will also serve as the studio behind the series. Friday the 13th is one of the most iconic horror franchises in movie history. And if you've ever played the NES game, it's one of the most frustrating games I've ever played. And we're dying to revisit this story with our upcoming drama series, Crystal Lake, said Susan Rovner, chairman of entertainment content for NBC Universal Television and Streaming. We can't wait to go to work with Bryan Fuller, a gifted visionary creator who I've had the pleasure of being a longtime friend and collaborator, along with our incredible partners at A24 in this updated version for Peacock. Again, there's that word updated version that will thrill long-standing fans of the franchise. Miller and Toberoff, his attorney, were previously involved in a lengthy court case in an attempt to obtain the rights to the original film's screenplay for Miller. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in Miller's favor in 2021, giving him the U.S. rights to the screenplay. Miller and Toberoff have non exclusive foreign rights as well, and by bringing in Rossi Ming, again, I'm probably saying that wrong, the project has access to all the other elements from the films. Fuller is known for creating or co creating shows like Hannibal at NBC, Pushing Daisies at ABC, Dead Like Me at Showtime, American Gods at Stars, and Star Trek Discovery at Paramount Plus. He is also known for his work on Star Trek Voyager as well as Heroes. He is repped by WME Real Estate Entertainment Partners and Ziffern Bitterham. It goes on to say, I discovered Friday the 13th in the pages of Famous Monsters magazine when I was 10 years old. Me, I discovered Friday the 13th while renting the movies back in the 80s. So it goes on to say he was 10 years old, and I've been thinking about this story ever since, Fuller said. When it comes to horror, A24 raises the bar and pushes the envelope, and I'm thrilled to be exploring the campgrounds of Crystal Lake under their banner. And Susan Rovner is simply the best at what she does. Ass kissing, ass kissing, ass kissing. It's a pleasure and an honor to be working with her again. The original Friday the 13th was released in 1980. In that film, Jason is a child who drowns at Camp Crystal Lake. His death leads his mother, Pamela, to seek revenge against the counselors she blamed for her son's death. It grossed nearly 60 million against a reported budget of 550,000, and you got to remember that's 1980s money, and that was a lot of money back then.
Yep.
Since then, there have been 11 further films in the franchise, including Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, and the 2009 reboot. Jason became the main antagonist beginning with the second film. Note, an earlier version of the story stated that Crystal Lake would not be able to use elements from any Friday the 13th films except for the first film. The story has been amended to reflect that it can, in fact. All right, so what do you all think?
I think it should have ended with that Alice Cooper song back in 1985. I'm not
And
sure what number that is. That might have been Friday the 13th 5 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sure.
after
Just
the
like
fifth
with A
one,
Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the
yeah,
13th ran a long, long time.
yep.
At
And
least it seemed that way.
what's the other one? Not Michael Myers. Yeah, Michael Myers. That one
Yeah,
and
Halloween.
Halloween. You know, they. Yeah, like I said, after the fourth one and the fifth one, that's too much when it comes to this. But all the series, you can stop watching after four, really, on all of them. You know, but that was the thing in the '80s. They were.
Hmm. Yeah, and Dempsey had some information. He says the Friday the 13th rights were in court for a long time. With the Friday the 13th rights being used to make content again, do you think they will make another game? Fingers crossed. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Depending on how well this series does, you may see another Friday the 13th game. And I do want to say hello to Geek Hero Bubba. Welcome. And he says Conan versus Jason. Let's do it. Why not?
No. Conan and Red Sonja versus Jason and Michael Myers. There you go.
I was gonna say versus Jason and Freddy. And Dempsey says Alice Cooper was in part 6.
Yeah. I just remembered the song that he did for it. Matter of fact, he's still playing that song to this day.
When you have a hit song, it lasts forever.
But as far as these movies equal video games, if it was like about 10 years ago, I would say yes, if it was a success. But nowadays, the way things going, it doesn't always equal out a video game. I mean, think about it. We got Ghostbusters recently, which was good. No video game. You can say Star Wars. I know how people think about the sequel trilogy, but besides, what is it? Legos. There was no Star Wars video game for episode. What was it? 9, 10, or 8. There was none. Nothing. Nothing. And even today, do you see even TV show? I would call it not a great hit, but I'll call it a hit. Man, do you see a Mando game? No. 10 years ago, yeah. Today, it doesn't equal out.
Nope.
And another thing you can look at. I remember like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and everything. They had Star Wars, Risk for the movies, each movie, and then one for the complete series, like episode 1 through 3. They had the same thing for the Lord of the Rings. They had Monopoly for both of them. Used to see that. I think the only one I can ever say that I seen was Spider-Man Monopoly. But other than that, you don't see them.
I mean, they've even done Monopoly for Transformers.
No. Like I said, think about this way. The best it's 2022. 10 years ago, Star Wars came out with their second online game. Star Wars, what is it? Old Republic. Notice Disney never messed with it. They never come out with another online game, nor did they change it.
And I can concur what Dempsey is saying here. Galaxy of Heroes made over $1 billion during the new movies being released. The main reason why is because every time a new movie came out for Star Wars, Galaxy of Heroes would have that character in game.
Is that the phone app?
Yeah, that's the one that
Well,
you can get
there's
on
another
Android
reason,
or
because
Apple.
a lot of people like games when they're on the go. So I can see that one. But like I said, outside of that, I mean, think about it. We got out of the box Cal Custis. That was out of the box.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, like I said, don't take my word for it. Just look at it. Just look at where they're at. I would have told you 10 years ago there would have been a Rogue One game, there a video game. There would have been a if episode 7, 8, and 9 were good, you would have got video games for that. Look, we got video games for 1, 2, and 3 when they came out. Each one.
And real quick, Phil, sorry to interrupt, but I do want to say thank you to Geek Hero Bubba for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I hope you like what you saw so far, and hope you come back, brother.
You got the Miller stream because Anonymous ain't here.
Yeah, Anonymous. You know, even though he's not here, I'm going to go ahead and play it. So, if he's lurking, which he could be, Anonymous.
Anonymous. Anonymous. Anonymous.
And I can hear him now. I hate you, Mike. I really hate you. And MC says to Geek Hero Bubba to take care. And MC also says, I loved all those games from the older Star Wars movies. Yeah, they're all fun. It didn't matter what platform you played them on. Mm-hmm. And I do want to say good evening to Jet Sparks. How are you doing this evening?
Hello.
So let's go ahead and move on to our next story here. It comes from Bounty in the Comics. I actually have this and another story from Bounty in the Comics for tonight. And it pretty much tells you what you already knew about Square Enix. So I will go ahead and get into that. And this article was posted just today on Bounty in the Comics. It says Square Enix president declares the company needs to target the global market to succeed. Japanese market is no longer sufficient. That tells me a few things. All right, so this is by Ryan Pearson. It says Square Enix president has declared the Japanese market is no longer sufficient and that they must succeed in the global market. Aren't they already? Haven't they been for years? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can help me out in the chat. The news was broken by Twitter users noticing a particular page of Square Enix Annual Report 2022. Regarding the company's business strategy moving forward, President and Representative Director Yosuke Matsuda discusses how the studio is planning on revamping their portfolio. Matsuda reminded investors about the sale of Square Enix, Western Studios, and their IPs to Embracer Group, asserting the aim was to build stronger business foundations by revamping our portfolio of titles and studios, thereby enabling us to be selective and focused in leveraging our resources as game development efforts became more sizable and sophisticated. What caught the attention was the next paragraph, seemingly attempting to justify the company's focus on the West. Achieving major growth in the game industry is difficult now for companies that compete primarily in the Japanese market, given its grain demographics, Matsuda explained. As such, it is critical for our business that we produce hit titles that speak to the global market, which offers greater scale in terms of both customers and sales volume. The company president promoted. Furthermore, game development efforts are becoming more sizable and sophisticated as the result of technological advancements in the devices on which they are played, such as consoles and smart devices. The investment required to develop games titles is therefore an order of magnitude greater than in the past. Matsuda then made Square Enix thoughts and future aims plain. In other words, the Japanese market is no longer sufficient for achieving a level of earnings that enables us to recoup our development investment and generate a profit. And we therefore need to approach our development efforts based on the assumption that we have to succeed in the global market, he insisted. Of course, this is that memo. Goes on to say the focus may seem bizarre for a company built on JRPGs and the likes of Final Fantasy, but some of Square Enix Western endeavors have failed. Outriders was touted as Square Enix's next major franchise, only to meet middling to poor reviews from players and critics. In August 2021, developer People Can Fly even claimed that they hadn't received their first royalties, possibly a sign it hadn't been profitable in its first 4 months. It was announced in November last year that Marvel's Avengers resulted in a 48 million loss for the company, failing to offset its development cost. The following year, Matsuda admitted the game produced a disappointing outcome, noting that the games as a service business approach highlighted issues that we are likely to face in the future game development efforts. Even this year, Square Enix stated Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy undershot our initial expectations on launch. As such, it can feel like the Life is Strange series is Square Enix's only success story of a title that both targeted and was developed for Western audiences, though this would be an unfair generalization. Well, from what I've seen of Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers, if you make a crappy game, don't expect high sales. The news of Square Enix focusing on a global market may also be a surprise given Matsuda's comments in April, though fitting given their context. In an interview, Matsuda stated, nowadays the game market has become globalized. The domestic Japanese market used to be large, but now it is swelled next to China and the US. If you are not recognized even globally, you cannot do business. Matsuda, however, added, interestingly, however, even if Japanese imitate Western games, they will not be able to produce good ones. The drawings of monsters and the visual and audio effects are all somewhat Japanese, and the players around the world know that a given element is what makes Japanese games good. Overseas markets are important, but it is not enough to develop them, Matsuda stated. As such, will Square Enix global market focus mean they will still bring their Japanese charm, or will it be hampered by their ethics department and censorship? I'm voting on the latter. I don't know about anybody else, but I can see the latter taking a very, very large stronghold in future games from Square Enix, especially to appeal to a Western audience.
Well, my opinion on things like this, when it comes to Japan and a lot of the Asian countries, Japan is not known for being, they're talking global, but Japan itself, when it comes to gaming, likes to be closed. And what I mean by that, if it's an online or a multiplayer game, they're not too friendly with people jumping over to their servers to play that game. They rather be Japanese only. South Korea's the same way. China's the same way. Uh, there's nothing wrong with developing a game that is for Japan. I can think of a lot of games that they make that rings out worldwide. Romance of the Kingdoms, that video games series, is huge. And it's not based on Japanese characters or history. That's based on Chinese, which also makes some money. But there's a lot of games that, believe it or not, even online games, that doesn't go through them three countries. They just, if it's South Korean, they tend to leave it alone. If it's Japanese, they tend to leave it alone.
Well, not only that, Phil, there are games back in the days of the NES and Super NES that were only released in Japan.
Star Blazers was for the PS3. We never got that over here in the United States. That's Japanese only. So, and to say that they can't be successful and make money in Japan alone, that's poppycock.
It's a bunch of BS.
I mean, I can understand a company wants to grow and go international. I can understand that. If that's what you're deciding to go and do it. But there's a lot of companies and video game companies, they're more happy and content in their region. The EAs of the world, okay, there are some exceptions. There are some games that are made in Japan that we like over here. Mario Brothers, Zelda, I can name them all from the top of my head. But there's some games that you're going to get from over there in Japan, you'll be like scratching your head.
Well, there are some games that were released only in Japan, and some people have gotten to play them. It's like, why wasn't this ever released here in the US? Come on.
And normally what happens is when a company is based in a nation or a region, they tend to
Well, a
make
lot of it too, Phil,
Mhm.
especially back in the Nintendo and Super Nintendo days, even for the Genesis, a lot of it had to do with censorship.
Yeah.
There are certain things in games that were released that wouldn't fly over here.
No. They had to do a lot of editing, and just like we say about the cartoons and anime, there was editing in the games. There were editing,
Mhm.
in Japanese
And I
culture.
do want to say hello to Leia Rose.
Mhm. But as far as not being successful, I don't know what the population of Japan is, 80 million. And if you can't tap and make a video game tap 10 million, that's a success. If you made a game and it sold 10 million copies in Japan alone, that's a success. I feel what happened was, hilarious, that when they got burned by the Marvel game, $48 million is a lot to eat up. That's a
Mhm.
lot to eat up. You would need to sell, you would have to have two video games, even if it was in Japan, maybe three, to be a success in order to make that back. But what some of these companies do when they're smaller companies like that and they're working for a giant like Disney doing Marvel, you ask for an upfront fee. I
Yeah.
don't think they did. I think that was probably why they got the deal. And then probably why Disney decided, hey, we can back out of this. We ain't gonna pay these people. Let's say it cost them 48 million. They probably were trying to sell it to Disney for maybe, let's say, 55 million, trying to make a little profit. Disney's like, oh no. And if you remember, just a couple years ago, Disney said they're going to do it on their own. Their video games. They were wanting to do it,
Well,
not let it run
they even
LucasArts.
had their own video game division that Bob Iger shut down.
Yeah, it did. That's what it didn't make sense. They should. I personally, they should have put LucasArts and their Disney video games. They should have put it on one umbrella, but they should have left LucasArts as a department. LucasArts was
Yeah,
a very
and
good department.
that's another thing. Disney bringing back Lucasfilm Games. It's like you had LucasArts, yet
Mhm.
10 years ago you dissolved LucasArts.
It didn't make sense, but I know games. Okay, I play game online, World of Tanks. They have their regions. The Chinese server, for example, is totally closed off to only people in China. In order to play there, you have to have what they call a rolling or a hidden IP. The Japanese server is totally different. Everybody else's server, you can jump across, you can join, you can go. You can't import your tanks and everything, but you can create a new account on the different servers. But the Japanese and the Chinese are specifically closed off. They run totally different than the rest of World of Tanks. And there's a lot of other games that are that way. Panzer Girls, I don't know if you know that video game. We don't have it over here, but it's a game based upon anime, girls in panzers, tanks. Successful game and a successful online game. Well, good luck if you want to try to get on that Japanese server to play that game.
And real quick, I want to say hello to the Padawannabe, and then Anonymous 5 times is saying identity theft, identity theft, identity theft, identity theft, identity theft.
And on that comment from
do you have a
Anonymous,
registered trademark there, Anonymous? I don't see an RT by your name.
How are you doing, Padawannabe?
I'm doing good. That I was gonna say on that comment from Anonymous, I was gonna say hello to Mike and hello to Not at All Moss.
Hey, Anonymous is upset. He needs to come on here earlier.
And I don't want anybody to think I didn't see that. I did see that. I was just trying to play along. Anonymous. 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 Get yourself in here, Anonymous. You know you need your pain. You know you need it. You know you love coming here for your pain. You know that.
I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain.
You know what would make Anonymous's day is one morning he wakes up and his wife leans over and sings that song. That would be beautiful.
Good morning.
Meanwhile, Anonymous is turning beet red. Steve's coming out of every orifice. And he's going, Mike!
Read what he puts his last comment. Divorce.
Anonymous. Divorce.
You know what would be even more awesome is he's driving down the road. He goes to a red light, rolls his window down, and the car next to him is playing that song.
Yeah, playing Madamada. Yes, we're having fun at your expense, Anonymous. You better get in here and defend yourself. All right. While we're waiting to see if Anonymous comes in and joins the party, go ahead and move into our next topic of discussion for tonight. And this comes from Anime News Network. It says, Variety. Raya and the Last Dragons, Carlos Lopez Estrada to write Direct Your Name, Hollywood remake. It says previous director Lee Isaac Chung had left due to scheduling conflicts. When isn't there a scheduling conflict in entertainment? And it goes on to say, entertainment news website Variety reported on Monday that Carlos Lopez Estrada, Raya and the Last Dragon, Blind Spotting, Summertime is set to rewrite and direct the planned live-action Hollywood adaptation of Makoto Shinkai's Your Name anime film. Oh, great! Another attempt at Hollywood doing an anime and live action. Haven't they learned? Have they learned from Cowboy Bebop? All right. It goes on to say Deadline previously reported on Chun being attached to the film in September last year, noting Then that the director would also rewrite the film's adaptation script based off of a draft from Emily V. Gordon. The Big Sick. Deadline had previously reported in February 2019 that Mark Webb, the Amazing Spider-Man 500 Days of Summer, was directing the live-action Your Name film. Paramount Pictures and J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot production is producing the new film. Yep, it's going to be crap. There you go. It's going to be shit. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, Super 8, and Lindsay Weber from Bad Robot are credited as producers alongside Genki Kawamuta. The original film's producer, Paramount and Bad Robot, will work with the original film's producer, Toho, who will distribute the new film in Japan. The original film centers on Taki, a high school boy living in Tokyo who works part time at a restaurant, and Mishua, a high school girl living in a town in rural Japan who wants to live in the city. One day they begin switching bodies every time they sleep and have to find a way to communicate with each other to manage each other's lives. Later, when they try to meet up physically for the first time, Taki discovers a secret that will lead to a race against time to try to save each other. The original film opened in Japan in August 2016 and has become the fifth highest grossing film of all time in Japan. The third highest grossing Japanese film, and the third highest grossing anime film. The film opened in 92 countries and territories and earned box office achievements in South Korea, China, Hong Kong, Thailand, Taiwan, in addition to Japan. Funimation Films screened the film in North America. Well, all I gotta say for anime fans, you know who's behind it: Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams, and it's gonna suck. And please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the one true Anonymous. Do, 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 do.
Y'all suck, Phil. I called my lawyer. He's ready to start the process.
He charging bubble gum and soda pop, right?
Well, yeah, he's only 6.
Yeah, coming from the town of Mayberry, right?
Well, I don't know where that's at, but you're in for some trouble, buddy.
I'm Phil McCracken. I always have trouble.
I'm Phil
Wait,
McCracken's
Phil
boyfriend.
McCracken. Phil McCracken, that's just another name for trouble.
That's right.
So, how are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm all right, I guess. I was some things going on, so I couldn't get in here fast enough. So, but I'm here now, so it's all well. I think it'd be all good, but no Phil's here, stealing my identity.
Oh, come on. Padawallaby's here. Padawallaby's a great guy.
I didn't steal your identity.
Phil-
I made it better.
Phil overshadows the Padawannabe.
Anonymous is he. I was in a chat with him earlier, and I mentioned the song. So
You can't go a day without hearing it.
I love it.
There's other songs, man. There's other songs out there.
Yes, but you should have never told me when you were watching that live stream and then the host, the YouTuber, saw your name and went anonymous. It's like I've told you, the gears started spinning in my head. It's like I'm gonna make something for anonymous.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
Yeah,
Nothing I can do about it now.
You learned of a swell guy who will make videos for his friends and use them here on Pop Talk.
Force. Force. That's a nice choice of words. For his friends. You mean you make videos against your friends? I see how you are.
It's all in how you look at it.
All right, Obi-Wan.
Oh, look. Here's another one who probably really enjoys the song.
Listen, kid. I don't want to hear anything from you.
All right, youngster. I know you're not on the panel, but you know what, youngster? You deserve this because you calling us boomers? No, youngster.
All right, youngster, out you go. Don't come back. Ever.
Calling us boomers.
Boomers. I am Gen X all the way. Boomer. Take that crap from snotty nose Gen Zer.
Freaking youngins. Back in my day, we had to walk to school.
I did have to walk to school.
So did I.
See?
Back in my day, when we fell off the bike, we got back up and rode it again and fell off again and again and again.
We broke things.
Back in my day, we walked.
We broke bones.
12 feet of snow barefooted, and we were thankful to walk through the snow barefooted.
Uphill both ways,
start,
right?
Nerdporial. Don't
Both
you
ways.
start. You whippersnapper.
Y'all are mentioning kind of a sore spot with me. I have to admit, I drive around town and I see these people on these bicycles, and I'm like, just like you were saying, back in my day, I didn't have to unplug my bicycle.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
I used
Look,
to have to
another
pedal up
youngin.
hills.
I just want to say thank you, Whoopa, my brother, who decided to show up and support, and the Ivy in Wrigley Field. Thank you, my brother.
Oh, give
Thank
it
you.
up. Give it up. There is no Ivy right now because it's November.
We're going to have them rip it out.
But I do agree with Crit on this one. You are Snoke.
Uh-huh.
Why are you bringing up Cash? Cash isn't even here. He's not here to defend himself.
Well, there's an issue with me being Snoke. I have a full head of hair.
But you're just as ugly. Ooh.
I'm beautiful.
Oh,
I'm
burn!
I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
The term is quote in hashtags OP of sexiness.
Oh, really? Why did I hear a mirror break?
Bill is also delusional today, so he's
Can
got
you-
Joe
can-
Biden syndrome.
No. I want you all to get
No,
electrical
Whoopa,
cars.
but if you'd like to come on and tell me that joke, what's the difference between a hot dog at Wrigley Field and a hot dog at Busch? Come on in. Friggin' Cardinal fans. Where did you guys get? Oh, wait a minute. You guys look like you were going to win a game and you lost it to the Phillies, who are now in the World Series. Ha! Yeah, I know we didn't get to the World Series this year, but that's okay. Neither did you.
It's all right. Half the baseball movies, the team doesn't even make it to the World Series. They just ended at the
No.
championship.
Yep. Major League comes to mind. Heck,
Is
even
there a
Angels in the
movie
outfield.
where they go to the World Series?
No, not that I can think
Like
of.
Bull Durham, any of those movies?
No. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. They're pros on my side when it comes to the Cardinals? Dude, that's awesome. That is freaking awesome. Take that, Whoopa. Oh, by the way, Whoopa, you're still welcome to come on and tell me why a hot dog at Busch Stadium. How are the greatest fans in baseball? It's
See,
so great
now-
compared to Wrigley.
Now we know we have come to a time in our lives when things have gone all the way around. We
Yeah.
have a person named the Nerdporeal Life Form and a Pokemon are arguing about sports. I love it.
All I'd have to say to end the arguments of stadiums, I'd rather go get a hot dog in a safe bush field where it's safe and not going to get killed, as opposed to going into Chicago and losing my life.
With the hometown hate happening.
The rivals. Come on, Whoop! I'm waiting for you to knock on the door. Knock on the door. Come to the street. Talking
You
about
missed it, Rupa.
how much.
He showed a wonderful clip of a wonderful team winning.
Well, yeah, it was the
Chicago
Cubs,
White
Phil.
Sox.
It was
The
the Cubs. You know
Chicago
what? You
White
know what?
Sox.
No,
White
it
Sox.
wasn't the White Sox. Your delusion of grandeur, or actually, no, you're just delusional. Forget that. You're just delusional. I'm gonna show it again. So yeah, because you know what today is, don't you, Whoopa? Yeah, you better. You better, yeah.
He doesn't have delusions of grandeur. He's grandly delusional.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna bring it up again just because I can. And I like to aggravate certain Cardinal fans just like they like to aggravate me. So give me a second to bring it up here. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Because this day, 6 years ago, it was awesome. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna bring you in and you're gonna watch this.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series.
That's right. He said the Cubs win the World Series, not the Cardinals. And I know you're going to shove how many championships the Cardinals have. 11 championships. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, it'll take another 100 years plus before the.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
Another 100.
Oops. Whoa. Oh, how you doing, Whoopa?
Hey, sorry, I had to rush to get everything set up, for this joke.
Hey, Wolf, give it to us. Give us the joke.
How's my pal Whoopa doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, here I got the joke. What's the difference between a hot dog at Wrigley and a hot dog at Busch?
$3.50.
You can buy a hot dog at Busch in October.
Yeah, but who got their asses whipped by the Phillies in October?
Hey, look, it's tough. It's tough. I know. Not a fan, but I'll tell you one thing, Mike. Wilson Contreras is going to look lovely in Cardinal red next year.
You son of a bitch.
The trash talk is downing.
It's not even the 2023 season, and I'm ready to go at it.
We got to get started early.
Yeah, we do. We're just having fun. Folks, Whoopa's a great guy. Check out his channel, please.
Yes. I don't have anything going on there yet, but
We can stare at it for a while. It's okay.
you can.
Hey, guys. I just got my channel name, or not my channel name. What the crap did they call?
You're at.
Man, my brain
At Anonymous.
sucks. Yeah, I can't. Oh, handle. That's what it is. Freaking handle. I got my handle. Hey.
I just realized
Nice.
my picture's not on there. Do I have to change it somewhere else? I thought it was there.
That's a weird thing. You have to get out of the stream and then come back in. It's
Okay.
weird.
Well,
I don't know,
noticed
Mike-
my
Yeah.
Google picture
Kick him
went
and
away,
see
too.
kick him and bring him back in and see if it pops in there.
I don't know if it came back, did it?
You gotta wait.
I'm looking.
No,
I just
Nope.
want to make sure that
No.
Anonymous
I'll-
sees what I've written underneath my name.
I'll go back into my Google account and mess with
Pay
it.
your child support, you slacker.
Where is this coming from? At least when Whoop and I can go at each other for our teams, it's legit. It's Bush Stadium. What the hell?
Phil-
I'm going to another level. I'm
Phil,
not a
if-
monster's baby. He has to pay your child support.
No, see, Phil, that's where you're wrong.
Hmm.
If you were my baby,
Kick the baby. Don't kick the baby.
my politics would change real fast.
And if anybody gets that reference,
Kick the baby.
you're a good person. It's when South Park was still funny.
You just remember this, Anonymous. When you wake up one morning and your wife's leaning over you and she goes, Anonymous, do, 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 do. You remember that.
Yeah. My marriage would be over.
Honey,
That's all right. I can be on YouTube a lot
I
more.
don't know. I don't know what's wrong with you, honey, but I'm sorry. You said
This ain't working out, honey.
one thing. One thing that drives me crazy because I have to hear it when I go on Pacific's channel.
It's just it was a nice run.
He's talking all this now, but when he talks to that so-called soda pop candy lawyer of his, and he starts talking spousal support, he'll be singing a different tune.
No, once I
right.
tell the judge what she did, then
Remember, sometimes it's
he's
cheaper
gonna
to
side
keep
with
her.
me.
Cheaper to keep her.
Bye, Nerdporial, wherever you're going.
Bye.
Back to the Nerdporial universe.
Thank you for stopping by, Brian. Really appreciate it, brother. Speaking of which, in case somebody wants to subscribe, if they're not already, here we go. All right. And while I'm waiting for that link to pop up, I'll go ahead into this next story from Cosmic Book News. It says Henry Cavill joins Isa Gonzalez in World War II spy thriller. Big plans are underway for Cavill, which includes reuniting with Guy Ritchie. Henry Cavill and Isa Gonzalez have been cast in the new World War II spy thriller movie from Guy Ritchie and Jerry Bruckheimer, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Ritchie reteams with Cavill from The Man from U.N.C.L.E., who will direct with Bruckheimer, known for producing Top Gun and more producing. The film is inspired by real events and will chart UK Prime Minister Winston Churchill and James Bond creator Ian Fleming's secret World War II combat organization. Henry Cavill will play the leader of the secret combat organization. The clandestine squad's unconventional and entirely ungentlemanly fighting techniques against the Nazis, or Yazis, I gotta be careful with YouTube, helped change the course of the war, and in part gave birth to the modern Black Ops unit, offers Deadline in their exclusive announcement. Isa Gonzalez will play a military sniper with extraordinary spycraft abilities. It's also said the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare will feature a bevy of colorful characters, with the film having echoes of Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards, and that Ritchie and Bruckheimer have plans to create, the project as a franchise. Interestingly enough, Henry Cavill recently revealed that he almost played James Bond, but instead Daniel Craig got the role because they wanted to go with an older actor. Henry Cavill is also starring in Matthew Vaughn's Argyle spy series for Apple TV Plus streaming service that is adapting Eli Conway's upcoming novel following the world's greatest spy, Cavill on a globe-trotting adventure. And of course, it mentions that Henry Cavill has a busy schedule. He exits The Witcher and he's back as Superman. Henry has been. I'll start that over again because I screwed it up. Henry has a busy schedule ahead of him, and that's why today saw the news that he exited Netflix The Witcher series after 3 seasons and will be replaced in season 4 by Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah,
Of
sure.
course.
That's why he left, because he's busy. Quote
Yeah,
unquote.
yeah.
Let's go with that.
I'll buy it.
I'll buy that for $1. Of course, there is also the return of Superman. Yeah, that's the main reason why he left. Henry recently returned to the role after 5 years, and there are big plans in the future as Man of Steel 2 is in early development. He's rumored for The Flash as well as Black Adam 2 and Justice League 2. So, as The Witcher films overseas and requires a big commitment, Henry Cavill departed the series for Superman and other projects. The character means so much to me. It's been 5 years now, and quite rightly. Otherwise, I probably shouldn't deserve to wear the cape. But I never gave up hope, and it's amazing to be here now talking about it again, Cavill said Wednesday night. He added, there is such a bright future ahead for the characters, so I'm excited to tell a story with an enormously joyful Superman. And of course, I do have an article from Bounty in the Comics continuing about Henry Cavill's departure, but what do you guys think?
I think it was a good choice on his part. Nothing against The Witcher, but if you're going to tell me where he's going to make more money and be more popular, definitely Superman. And it gives him a chance to do other projects where, if I understand correctly, when he was doing the show The Witcher, he was limited to doing other projects.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically just the one.
See you, Dempsey.
And I do want to say, have a good night, Dempsey. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to go real quick, Mike. I'm sorry. I have things I have to do and take care of. Thank
All
you
right,
for
brother.
having me on.
Don't leave me with the Cubs fan, Phil. I don't know if I'll make it.
Just, you got an anonymous. He'll keep Mike in line, and if he doesn't, just hum the anonymous tune, and I'll get him going. Okay. You all have a good night, and I'll see you guys Sunday when you guys.
Yes, sir.
Sunday.
Phil, I say this with all sincerity. I hope you get a bad rash on your butt.
It's okay. It's okay. when you go to bed at night and you get that little pain in your stomach,
That's you.
That's me.
Well, that's what I thought.
Oh, wow. Night.
Bye, Phil.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So, continuing on with the Henry Cavill news. This comes from Bounty in the Comics, and it was posted on Halloween. It says Henry Cavill officially exits The Witcher. Previously stated he would continue playing Geralt as long as Netflix honored the original book. So I can't even pronounce that name, so I'm not going to try. And if anything repeats from the last article, well, I'll try to skip it, or we could just start talking about something else. So the article starts off by saying it's a somewhat heartbreaking decision given his affinity for the series itself, but ultimately one most fans will agree is for the best. After 3 seasons of watching Netflix slowly butcher the story of The Witcher series, star Henry Cavill has officially announced that he will not be returning for a 4th. Cavill's retirement from the role as Geralt of Reviva. I don't know.
Rivia.
Yeah. Okay. So I would have been right the first time. Whatever.
Believe in yourself, Mike. Believe in yourself.
We'll edit it out post production, don't we?
No, nothing's edited. Unedited, unscripted. It's off the cuff. Was first announced on October 29th by the actor himself, who took to his personal Instagram account to solemnly inform fans that my journey as Geralt of Rivia has been filled with both monsters and adventures, and alas, I,
Feminism.
Is he
I
referring to the
will.
show writers there? Or?
I will be laying down my medallion and my swords for season 4 because I am Superman, and who needs a show? I mean, come on.
Yeah. He don't need the crap. He doesn't need it. So
No.
I don't blame him a bit. Just screw you. I'm out. I was only signed for 3 seasons. I ain't doing a 4th. This show sucks. I'm Superman, Witch. I'm out of here.
Yep, exactly. However, rather than this being the end of Gerald's journey, the actor then revealed that in my stead, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. And my prediction is that the show will end after the 4th season. Just my prediction.
That's a good
As
pick.
with the greatest literary characters,
My prediction is that the views will stop right now.
yeah. As with the greatest literary characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt and enthusiasm to see Liam's take on the most fascinating and nuanced of men, said Cavill. Wishing well of the Hunger Games star future in the role, Liam, good sir, this character has such a wonderful depth to him. Enjoy diving in and seeing what you can find. Well, the show, in my opinion, is probably not going to do anywhere near the numbers. And I know this is stating the obvious. I do it well, but this show's not going to do anywhere near the numbers with Liam Hemsworth as it did with Henry Cavill. In a separate statement shared to his own Instagram, Hemsworth weighed in on the news and exclaimed, "As a Witcher fan, I am over the moon about the opportunity to play Geralt of Rivia. Henry Cavill has been an incredible Geralt, and I am honored that he is handing me the reins and allowing me to take up the White Wolf's blades for the next chapter of his adventure," he said. "Henry, I've been a fan of yours for years and was inspired by what you brought to this beloved character," Hemsworth concluded, offering reverence and respect to his predecessor. "I may have some big boots to fill, but I'm truly excited to be stepping into the Witcher world. Though the loss of Cavill is a major blow for the series, particularly
Is it?
as no, not really. When Cavill's got greener pastures,
No, nobody liked it anyway.
I haven't watched it. I had no intention of watching it. It's particularly as the man not only near perfectly embodied the character, but was essentially a walking encyclopedia of series lore. It does not come as a surprise in any way, considering the differences in vision for the series held between the actor and the Witcher's production team. And I remember seeing a thing where the producers and writers don't even care for the game, don't even care for the source material. So why are you writing the fucking show? It's no secret that the Superman actor has long been a dedicated fan of the series. In 2019, Cavill recalled to GQ that his first involved experience with the franchise was The Witcher 3 at the time of the interview, even noting that he was in the middle of his third complete playthrough of the CG Project Red developed title. Well, Henry's a nerd like us.
No, he's not a nerd like us.
One of us. One of us. One of us.
He's on a
We need
pedestal
big
of the
nerds like
nerddom.
him.
He's way better looking than we are.
Yeah. From there, upon learning that the Witcher Netflix series creator Lorenzo Schmidt, her, Hisrich, was interested in adapting the series to live action, Cavill's fandom of the game led him to quickly taking steps to throw his name into contention for the role of Geralt. After she agreed to an initial meeting with him in order to speak from a position of more established authority on the IP, Cavill then set out to read all of, and I can't even pronounce that last name, but all the original authors, original novels, and he was absolutely loved. He absolutely loved it. I want to do it as true to the lore as possible. He told the magazine, for me, it was about bringing my love for the character to the show. As a fan, I want to protect it. It would have hurt my heart to hear that there was a show that didn't jump on. I didn't jump on, sorry, especially if someone else had a unique and perhaps even brilliant interpretation of Gerald, but one that, but one not who I, as a fan, sees. Cavill concluded. And it goes on to say, even when The Witcher's first season made some changes to the story, Cavill's love for the series kept him optimistic towards its future, as he hoped that he could eventually help guide it closer in line to the author's original vision. Asked by The Hollywood Reporter in November 2021, ahead of the series' second season premiere, if he planned on staying on for the 7 seasons of The Witcher's, his stretch had reportedly already planned out. Cavill declared, absolutely. However, this affirmation was not without a very stark caveat. As long as we can keep telling great stories which honor the author's original work, and of course, Cavill would further speak to his wish for Netflix to follow the books during an interview with hardwarezone.com given the month after. So it goes on to continue to talk about it. But honestly, you can't blame Cavill for leaving. Not when he has something bigger and better coming up.
No, and why would he stay? I mean, God, he loves the show. He loves the character and the lore, and they crapped on it the entire time he was there. Why in the world would he want to stick around for that? So
Yeah, and it's pretty telling that, I mean, you can hear in those quotes, he didn't necessarily care how much you got paid or what. He cared. It's like, oh, I like this character. I want to do it no matter the cost. And now it's like, yeah, I'm leaving. I think that should tell you all you need to know about it.
Tell you everything. That's crazy. So, great for him. He's been kind of screwed over so many times. He got Superman, but they kept giving him mostly crappy scripts, and he got The Witcher
And settling with someone else or someone else's instead of giving him his own movie.
Yeah, they screwed it. This freaking movie, it better be the greatest movie since the Donner Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Better be. My God, if they could pull this off right and make it as hopeful and joyful and bright as he's claiming, and
they can make it as not Snyder as possible.
Yes, not as yeah, exactly. I don't want a dark Superman. I don't want the dark DC universe. I want Superman is all about hope. He's all about brighter,
bright, hopeful optimism.
Yes. See, Snyder didn't understand what Superman was and was about, and it does him no service to be like that. Although I did like Man of Steel, but it's still the feel of it, the whole ambiance around it was just not right. And if they can pull off something it could be over $1 billion movie if they do it right.
Yeah, that's the key
I did not
thing right there.
did
They
not
have to do it right.
I did not like Man of Steel, but not no fault of Cavill. So he did a great job. It's just the character they told him to play, in my opinion, not good.
So
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm curious with what you've both said. Would you not at all be interested in blah 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 in an Injustice storyline movie?
No, I wouldn't personally.
I would
not
say
right
not.
now. Not this soon.
Not at this point in time.
Well, I was curious because you all said you didn't want the darker super, and that is Superman. You know, the beacon of hope, so to speak. You know, and they always make it the point of those references when they refer to the Trinity. You know, one character plays this role, one character plays this role, one character plays this role, but I enjoyed it just because it broke Superman, you know, because we all have that point, and they've always played up on the fact that, yes, while Superman recognizes his Kryptonian heritage, he also tries very hard to stay human, you know, and that, to me, that's probably the most human reaction he's ever had. And I'm not entirely sure if I'm under the understanding that Injustice is not, it's an alternate timeline. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So but
alternate timeline, alternate universe.
But it always intrigued me because it's like, you know, and again, kind of along the lines you were saying, Superman is the Boy Scout. He was referenced that way. That's kind of what we all think of him as, and so I was just curious if you or did you even read it, or were you like, that's not my
I can
Superman,
accept
I'll
that
subscribe
storyline,
to
but if they're gonna lead up to an Injustice style movie, it has to be proper build up.
Oh well, no, I was just curious because of what they were saying, how they didn't like the darker stories of Superman. So I was just curious. I follow Marvel much more, and I've kept up with Batman and Superman over the years, but I'm not an in-depth fan as some others. So I was just curious.
I'm not either. I mean, I didn't read DC a lot, you know, when I was into comic books, but of course, you grew up. You always loved Superman. You always loved Batman. You know, those were the main two that were iconic, and you watched all the movies, the cartoons, all that stuff, as much as you could growing up back then. So, Superman's always been a certain way. They later on, of course, the Injustice and all that stuff. Sometimes they can make it darker. You know, Batman was campy, and then he was the Dark Knight, and then you know they change them over time. But we all are set in the originals that we grew up with. Like Whoopa may have grew up with a darker DC, if he read comic books, you know, than I did, or Mike did, or you.
I didn't read any comic books.
Well, that's fine. I'm just using you as an example. Sorry, but for me, the Donner Superman movie was the epitome.
The Dahmer cut.
Dahmer. Stop it. But that was the Superman from the comics. That was the Superman of light and hope and all that stuff, and that's what appeals. Especially, it appeals to the people inside of us that want something greater, something to aspire
General
to.
Audience, yeah.
Mhm.
I get that.
And that's what we need now to believe it. We need that now. We need truth, justice, and the American way. Yeah, and because if this ain't dark times, I don't know what is. And something like that could really inspire a lot of people.
Well, I think also it's just the importance of having contrasts. Like DC is way too was, or at least was way too dark under Snyder, in my opinion. And it's not that I'm against dark films. Like, there's plenty of dark films I like. I'm an edgy connoisseur at times. But like, you gotta have some lip. I think my favorite DC movie under the Snyderverse was Shazam, because first of all, Zachary Levi did a great job. But also it's just okay. It has some of these dark kind of DC elements, but it's mostly just it's very light. It's funny, and it's like a kid just got the powers of a superhero, which is the whole point. Yeah. It's things like that. I think, and that's a problem that Marvel does almost the opposite way. Where it's like you can't have a serious moment. Guardians of the Galaxy was awesome, and still one of my favorite superhero movies. But after that did good, they're like, well, let's just make jokes out of everything. Well, no. You need some more serious movies. You need your Infinity Wars. You need your, you need movies that are grounded and not everything just a joke.
And that's what I loved about the Marvel movies when Paramount was producing them. They were serious. Yeah, they would throw in a joke here and there, but they took everything serious because the situation itself was serious. It wasn't a laughing matter.
Well,
Yeah,
in any of the comic books that we would read, no matter if it was very serious, say like, well, in what I was reading, I would read the X-Men. So Wolverine comics were very serious, but then Deadpool comics were high comedy. But in all of the X-Men comics, it was the key of putting the comedy in at realistic times, not just shoving a joke in. And that's what makes it more relatable for me, especially. Doesn't matter how dark it is or how jokey it is. It's, because Guardians of the Galaxy is all comedy compared to the rest of the titles. And kind of along the line of what you all were saying, don't force it into all the genres. Like, that's what I liked about the CW shows. Arrow was a certain way. Flash was a certain way. Supergirl was a certain way. Whether you were fans of all the shows or not, there was a different genre for everybody to enjoy, and the larger scoping fans might enjoy them all. And I understand exactly what you're saying. It's like, oh, we liked how Ragnarok worked, so let's make all movies like Ragnarok, which is kind of weird. And they're forcing, to me, being the X-Men fan, they've kind of forced the genres on the wrong teams. So I understand, the points of view that people are making, whether I accept it or not, and the different perspectives. But it's I get it, and we all kind of understand, especially seeing the revamping of X-Men 97. It's like, ooh, are we gonna get it makes me nervous to even know what this is gonna be. I'm not sure. So
take a while, guess.
You soak that all in, and it's kind of like, I want good stuff, but at this point of creation, we're all nervous at what we're gonna get, and we're not even sure if we want it because we're so right at the edge. And some of the fans are like, you know what? I'm just going over. I'm done. I don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
So I just, I love all the perspective, the things you guys are saying. That's because it's right on. It's exactly what we're dealing with. It just stay strong. Stay strong, true believers.
Yeah, this is the only movie that I have hope in right now. I mean, it helps that he comes out and tells us stuff and gives us he's giving us hope. It ain't any of the producer. If the director came out and said it, I would, I'd have to look at his body of work, and then I'm like, dude, I don't trust you. But Cavill's coming out and telling us this. That gives us a glimmer of hope.
I'm
So-
excited right now.
Yeah, right now, we'll
I
wait
have
and
a
see
good
whatever
feeling
else comes out. But
with and seeing him, it's kind of the same thing I get. I'm glad Dwayne Johnson went out to people and got himself out there, and he's like, hey, I care. And that's kind of the same thing I get from Cavill. He seems like he really wants his fans to like what he does, and he wants to like what he does. And it's a shame because the Witcher show, from my understanding, I haven't got to watch very much. My wife watched more than I did, but she even fell off as an outside viewer. And now I'm curious to see what happened, because from what I understand in the beginning, there was a lot of excitement around it. Like, he was very excited to be this character, and that's I think that might have been when the general public found out about his geekdom, and the computers, and yes, I play RPGs and so,
yeah.
But that connected him with us as general public. It's like, oh, no way, you do that too? That's awesome. Even though it probably made him a 0 in pretty girls' lives. They're like, oh my God,
No.
another nerd.
No.
No. See, that would happen to us. That would happen to us. But because it's Henry Cavill,
No,
If
it doesn't
you
matter
work
what
out-
he does.
If you work out, you can turn yourself from a 4 to a 9. If you work out good and have a good physique, we understand. I get it.
Yep.
what if
That's
I
pretty much
remain
the-
a 4?
No, I bet at best for me, I'm probably at best a 7.
Best of 7. Best.
I'm at best I'm a 7 at least.
So
but I
what
know
would
one
you-
thing.
what
You'd
would
even
you-
then, I already know. I think the one thing that would that's obviously a massive turn off to most chicks is probably my height.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Henry Cavill, obviously, again, I'm not saying he should be he could be crowned king of the nerds, but hey, it just shows that a guy who's good looking as him can still be a nerd. But again, I think, but most people again aren't really looking at him for his personality or anything. It's really cool when he's good looking as he is, and he actually is into nerdy stuff like we are. Yeah, see, ladies, there actually are good looking nerds out there. So yeah, not every guy who's good looking just wants to throw a football around.
Yeah, that's what they're waiting
I was
for.
gonna
That one.
say, I'm not speaking for you guys, but there are good-looking nerds out there, just not me.
I was
I'm
gonna
saying
say
that right now.
Now the nerddom ranges from Wozniak to Cavill.
That's a wide range.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but there's a big skip in between Cavill and like the rest of us. So
Oh, well, the number of
Look, all I'm
steps
saying is
definitely-
he's got a 6-pack. He's got a 6-pack. I've got a keg. Who's really
Oh,
winning in the end?
He's got a 9-pack. He's got a 9-pack.
I could get a 6-pack too. I just gotta go to the store.
For me, it's getting there.
Woo. I'll tell you what. We all have enough time that we could all get 6-packs.
I don't drink.
You don't have to drink to have a 6-pack.
It doesn't have to be beer. It could be soda.
You might like.
It could be a
french
6-pack of water.
What are you holding now? A 6-pack? A 6-pack? Brilliant!
Brilliant.
Sorry, I had to make that joke.
Dilly.
But
No
yeah,
worries.
the whole
Having fun tonight.
yeah.
So sorry, I kind of derailed the Cavill thing. I got curious.
Yeah, like I said, I know I put in the chat.
Don't
though, of
worry about
course.
it. Don't worry about it.
We
Because
have
I'm pretty sure
another-
that Star Wars girl, we already know that she's even said it herself that she's like that she'd be his biggest simp. But I probably bet if she actually met him in real life, she'd probably just faint.
I'll
She'd
tell
do
you,
more
you
than
know,
that.
If I met Henry Cavill in real life, I might faint. I don't know what to tell you. When an attractive person, when you see somebody on that level. It's not like that's the kind of level where I'm like, oh, I probably won't see somebody that looks remotely like that in public. But there are many Hollywood stars that I'm like, well, depending on where I live or where I vacation, it's very possible. Don't have to go anywhere too exotic. I'm definitely never going to see Kim Kardashian, even through binoculars. So
I don't
No,
want to.
why would you want to? Why would you even want to?
seeing
That
the
woman, everything
Kardashians.
about that chick is fake. Everything.
well, I know, but I'm just saying there's a certain celebrity that I know, like they're never just by chance in my neck of the woods. And on my best vacation, I'm not somewhere they're gonna slum it and go to. So, but there's many people that it's like, oh my gosh, I could totally see some people like that out in public. But some of those people, I wanted to mention like because Cavill's leaving Witcher, and so Liam Hemsworth coming in, correct?
Yes.
Yes, literally.
Now
Both of them are literally the
This
same.
isn't a straight line draw.
Happy seconds.
This isn't a straight line draw, but I almost see if this doesn't work at all. Far reach prediction. Maybe this Hemsworth ends up picking up a Huntsman series in 2025.
Oh wait, that damn thing. So no way the Huntsman was still relevant or whatever. I thought that was his brother Chris that was in that movie.
No, it was Thor. I'm just thinking, it's kind of it. By that time, it could have been a while. Those shows were very popular. They don't really have a lot going on right now that's positive. It seems like the only positive supernatural kind of thing right now is Werewolf by Night, and possibly the Winchesters coming out, but everything else is very, as an adult viewer, I would say less, young adult oriented. There's a lot of those shows right now. I don't know. There were several shows that I was watching before the pandemic that just aren't around anymore. So I don't know. Just a thought. That made me. I thought that right when he was saying it, I was like, well, that just makes me think kind of that right away. He's very excited. He's a very athletic type actor. He's a good actor. I don't think he's bad. And maybe not a Huntsman series. Maybe hey, this series doesn't work out. I see him getting put in something else, than some new stream series.
Possible. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible at this point, but gentlemen, we are approaching the time where the stream is about to end. So I would like you all to promote your channels and talk about what's coming up.
Who wants to go first?
I volunteer.
There you go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Be the man.
Okay, so yeah, you can really find me at. Hang on, let me type it in. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you can find me at that handle on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. And when it comes to my YouTube channel, I'm not really sure what to do next. I mean, I've done a lot of big stuff for Halloween, and now just the year's winding down. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of really more focusing on how I'm going to be dealing with the holidays in terms of meeting with family and whatnot and stuff like that. So content may be a bit sparse for me in the next couple months, but I'm thinking about also doing something at the start of 2023, maybe another Let's Play. We'll Play It live series. And also, I'm really glad that now my community tab has now been unlocked. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. But anyone out there, if you got any suggestions, hit me up with anything, or if anyone wants to like hit me up on certain games like Halo or
Pokemon.
No, I don't play Pokemon. I haven't played Pokemon since like Gold and Silver.
Well, there's always time to start again.
Whoop is a
Well, like I said though, I'm not really sure what really to do now. I'm just other thing I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to focus on trying to write on some writing projects I'm working on, and I've been at it for years. So that's pretty much what I'm going to say about it, everybody. So just follow me at all those social and any of those social links on my channel right here at JetSparks373.
No problem. Who would like to go next?
I guess I will volunteer. Hey, I'm anonymous for reals. So, come to my channel. I have got a handle now. Yay. YouTube/@anonymous. It may be easier. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Since I can't figure out any content, there's like all they blew their wad on for TV shows that came out in the past month or so, and I missed most of it. So I think I'm gonna go back and review Quantum Leap, just so I can put out a video and poke fun of it. And so look around for that. Follow me on Twitter, and come give me a sub, something, it don't cost you nothing. I'm free. I'm cheap. And that's all I got.
All right. Padawannabe.
I'll start this off by saying, doo, 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 doo. I just had to get that. Sorry, man.
You're no better than Phil.
I don't have it up and running. I just purged my channel of all my gaming stuff. I was doing Injustice 2, but I'm not doing that anymore. Did that for a few years. So I have a channel. I have a Discord. They're just not geared toward what I'm doing. I have 6 shorts I'm gonna push out here probably by. Oh, well, it's November now, so I'll probably get them out by the end of the month. I'm going to start the channel soon because I just need, it's going to end up starting, it's just going to be builds. Could be Lego, could be Zoids. But I just need some time. I need to start getting back to kind of setting a few hours aside for me. And I know a lot of people kind of need that. So what I'm going to be doing in the very beginning will be very kind of just listen, and if you need some quiet time to watch something get built or listen to it. So I'm just talking as I go forward over the next few months. I have several ideas, and I'll probably be reaching out to all of you specifically. I mention it every once in a while to Whoopa, but the Lego streams, Lego doesn't do Pokemon, but Mega Bloks does Pokemon. So I'll definitely be reaching out to Whoopa when I do some of those builds. Just I'd love to have a Pokemon fan, and that's kind of what I'm looking to do. If you're a Lego fan of something I'm building, I'll have you on and we can talk about it while I'm doing it, or things like that. I want to do mostly live streams. That's what I enjoy, and so look for it. The name seems to be the same everywhere. I'm on Twitter. I don't use everything yet, but I will figure out how I'm going to utilize all these different medias with the channel. I'm going to be dominantly YouTube. I am on Xbox. I reached out to a few people recently, and we will probably be doing some co-op-y type gaming. Whose channel, we'll see. But I will be, now we have the handles and the community tabs and all that stuff, so I'll just have to start figuring out what that all can do for me as a creator. But it will all be coming out, pretty much hobby collector stuff. So, anywhere from electric trains and slot cars to Lego, Zoids, Star Wars, Star Trek, and that's why I talk with you, Pacific, the Pop Talk. I love to keep up on pop culture and what's happening. So,
yeah, and the content that you're thinking about putting on your channel, there's an audience out there for that.
Oh, yep, yeah, and that was kind of my thought from the beginning. Is my hobbies are popular. Just because I don't know people doesn't mean a lot of people aren't interested, and that's kind of why I decided to do it, because of all the people I talk on YouTube, there are so many creators and so many people are interested, and I'll just reach out to everybody, And yeah, Pops, I'm gonna bend his ear on some comic books one day. So y'all be looking for that too. I got 3 boxes of comic books I need his advice on, and just if there's anything worth saving for money purposes, because I never thought of comic books. That I'm a collector that never really thought of the money aspect. I just buy stuff that I like, so it'll be fun. I've taken up too much time already. Thank you for the opportunity.
Brother, I gave you the opportunity to plug, and you're doing what I asked you to do. Don't ever apologize.
So, well, I happily apologize for being motor mouth.
Nothing wrong with that, man. All right. Whoopa.
Hello. My internet kind of stinks, so I'm not doing any more live streams, sadly. But I'm going to be on someone else's stream. Dad Man Walking. We'll be talking about foosball.
Ooh.
Actually, football, not actually foosball. In case
oh dang, that was interesting for a moment.
Foosball's the devil's game. You know that.
Foosball, but mama. But yeah, so I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow at I think 7 Central.
Nice. If you want to go ahead and put the link in the chat, you can go ahead.
Oh yeah, here I can put his channel.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be doing. Oh shoot, I'm gonna be doing that. I think on the 19th, I'm going to be on Brandon the Anime Guy's channel. We're talking about
some
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's gonna be pretty fun. It'll be the day. That's the day after. That's the day after the new Pokemon game comes out. So I've already. I don't know if you can tell. I'm getting a bit of a cough going on. The game releases on a Friday. I think I might have to call off. Just to be careful.
Predictions.
You have a whooping cough.
I do. I do.
Okay, I know that was bad. I know. I'm full of bad jokes.
That's what we're here for. But yeah, those are my plans. I'm maybe gonna make some videos. I still gotta get back into the swing of things because I went from streaming like almost 4 times, sometimes 4 times a week, to streaming once a week to not streaming at all. So I gotta get back on the horse, and also just find stuff to make videos about now, which is tough because live streams I can just throw something on. Videos I gotta think about that stuff.
Yeah, really. Trust me, believe me, it's not easy.
No, it's not. Especially when you start recording, you start messing up. So you got to stop, do it over again.
Yep. And then you got the times, the fire department gets called. They're like, yeah, we saw a lot of smoke coming from your house. And then just be thinking of stuff.
You're thinking hard. A little too hard. Maybe slow it down a little.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got coming up tomorrow and the 19th. Right now.
All right. Well, as far as the PACIFIC414 channel is concerned, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, Cash Money 007 and myself will be giving our thoughts and opinions on Season 5 of Cobra Kai. And then, depending on how this next episode of Chucky goes, I haven't been impressed with episode 3. I haven't been impressed with episode 4. And if I'm not impressed with episode 5, it's going to be a short for my review of that episode of Chucky. Because this season started off good, but now it's starting to fall off. And as far as what's happening on this channel on the 19th, well, I will be celebrating the channel's 3-year anniversary. And everybody is invited to come on. We can talk pop culture and video games. We can talk sports. Whoop and I can, talk about our thoughts of this past World Series or anything else that comes to mind. Talk movies, television shows, books, you name it, except for politics. No politics. Anybody that talks politics, well, sorry guys. Even if I like you, just got one thing to say if politics come up.
All right, youngster, out you go. Don't come back. Ever.
So yeah,
put you in the cone of shame.
Yes. So that's what's coming up on the channel. And real quick, I do want to say good evening to Paul of the Star Wars guys. And he says, Everest Productions raid. I thought Crit was celebrating a milestone of 1.5K subs. What happened? Raid! And
Shadow Legends.
Can I send you the link to join and get Paul? We're getting ready to wrap up, brother. You can definitely hop in after the show if you want to talk, but we're getting to wrap up this portion. And Lorenzo says hello, and dude, I'm getting ready to wrap up. I was getting ready to head over there, man. Pops was looking for something to head over to. Jeez, man. Come on, man. Man. Well, there goes my plan for the night. Jeez, man.
Well, that's a disappointment. Sorry, guys.
Well, Lorenzo is streaming tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and 1 a.m. UK time. If you want to watch his variety show,
That might be 7 o'clock Central. I'm not sure.
and Chris says we can make a new stream. Okay, cool. Let me know when it's ready. Now I'll show up, brother. 1.5K. That's a milestone, brother. That's worth celebrating. And DJ Ronnie G says, did I ever mention that I like Crit's Orca logo? No, not to me, but this is the first time I'm hearing it, and that's cool. It is a cool logo on it.
That 9 grain bread.
And Lorenzo says, is this channel streaming tomorrow at the same time? If so, I'll open a tab in my browser. As far as that stream of cash tomorrow night, it is going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Cash and I had been talking about maybe opening it up to anyone else who wants to come on and talk season 5 of Cobra Kai after we've given our thoughts and opinions on the season.
Is that on the Hooligans channel?
No, it's going to be here on Pacific 414. I just haven't made the stream yet. I was going to do that tomorrow after I got a few things done. Yeah, we all stream at the same time pretty much, and that's fine. There's plenty of us to go around. So, with that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. Of course, Paul says, can I be a part of that Cobra Kai stream too? Yes, you can, Paul. As soon as Cash and I get our thoughts and opinions down, that's when I'm going to open it up. So, yes, you can. Anybody can. Because just like Pop Talk, I'll put the link in the chat. And if you want to join, join. So, thank you, Paul, the Star Wars guys. Thank you, Lorenzo, for being here. Thank you, DJ Ronnie G. Thank you, Crit. Let me know when you have that new stream set up, and I will hop over there. And I also, of course, want to thank Whoopa for hopping on the panel. Yeah, maybe I kind of coerced him to hop on to hear that joke, but hey, gotta get the Whoopa on here. I like having Whoopa on here.
It was worth it.
And thank
I
you to
miss you,
Pops.
buddy. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I miss him too. I miss Common Sense America, brother, Smoking Patriot. If you're out there, we miss having you on stream, brother. But thank you, Anonymous, for also hopping in. Really appreciate it. Jet Sparks, thank you for hopping in. And of course, Phil McCracken always makes it interesting. But thank you for being here, Phil. And of course, we had an appearance by Input Latency. And as I scroll up, I do want to say thank you to Dempsey for stopping by. Thank you very much. And the Admiral, the Nerdtorial Life Form. Thank you. And let me scroll up a little further. I don't want to miss anybody. Leia Rose, thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it. And let's see. Make sure I don't forget anybody else. And I don't want to forget Geek Hero Bubba. Thank you for stopping by. Glad to see you here. And let's see. We also had Cobra Disney Jedi. Thank you, Cobra. But every time, I'll admit, brother, every time I see your name, I want to sound like Cobra Commander. Cobra! Disney Jedi. That's how we'll defeat the Joes. And of course, I want to thank Godzillionaire. And Padawannabe, thank you, brother. Make sure I don't miss anybody else. I think that might be everybody.
And thank you, Pacific, as always.
Anytime. And please don't be afraid to subscribe to everybody who was on the panel. And anybody who was in the chat, go ahead. You should be able to hit those 3 dots and go to their channels and sub. And if you like what you saw in tonight's edition of Pop Talk, well, thank you for stopping by. Leave a like, leave a comment, share the video, and consider subscribing to the PACIFIC414 YouTube channel, because I do Pop Talks, I do gameplay, I do episode and movie reviews, and I just like to have a lot of fun.
Wait. He's not just a baseball guy. He's an all-around guy.
Exactly. Somebody's been paying attention.
It's my favorite quote.
So,
how
thank
round
you
are
guys. And like Whoopa said, I'm not just a baseball guy. I am an all-around guy. Have yourselves a good rest of your Wednesday. And before I leave, go over to Everest Productions, please. Please, let's congratulate Crit on reaching 1.k subscribers. He deserves it.
Moving on up. Moving on up.
And if that doesn't pop up, I will go ahead and grab the link real quick, because sometimes Nightbot works, sometimes it says, nope, sorry, taking the night off.
There it is.
All right, cool.
Looks like it's going, yeah.
Yep. So, thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and hopefully I will see you over on Crit's channel here shortly, and yeah, have a good night.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Bye-bye.
No, definitely don't eat the yellow snow.